Whether you've got short-term savings goals that you'd like to hit in the next year or two, or you're saving for retirement, I've got you covered. Today, I'm talking all about saving strategies so that you can start saving for the future today. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Cameron from Triggator, and on this channel, I'll help you keep track of your money, save for the future, and pay off debt fast. If that's something that you need in your life, then be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified of the videos that I put out each week. Now let's talk about savings. The first thing you want to do is set goals. Think about what you're trying to accomplish by saving money. What are you saving for? Be very specific, not just a vacation, because that doesn't give you a clear idea of exactly how much money you're going to need. Say, I'm saving to take my family to Disney World for a week, or I'm saving to take a week-long cruise to the Mexican Riviera. Your goal might not be a vacation right now, but specifically, what is the money for? Next, with your goals, set a specific amount and the date that you want to save it by. With our vacation example, you might say, I will save $6,000 by July 1st of next year. I have several free savings goals worksheets that I've created to help you track your goals. You can use these to color in and keep track of how much you've saved. I'll leave a link below the video so that you can get access to these sheets. Second, create a budget. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you have a full budget. If you don't have one, I have a video here that can help you with the steps to get started. Having a budget allows you to evaluate your spending and come up with a plan for saving money. You'll see how much you are able to save towards your goal and allocate that money for your goal. Budgeting 101 is to list your income and subtract out your expenses and save and invest the rest. Step 3, trim the fat. If you find out that you're short on money, maybe you don't have as much to save as you thought you did now that you've done your budget, it's a good time to make some adjustments. Set your priorities. What does saving take priority over? If you want to save for a vacation, but you don't have enough money left in your budget, ask yourself this question. Would I rather blank or go on vacation? Like, would I rather keep Hulu and Netflix or go on vacation? Would I rather go out to eat or go on vacation? Again, your goal doesn't have to be a vacation, so trade vacation for your savings goals. What are you willing to trade for your savings goal? What things are less important than your savings goal? This should make it easier to make some cuts if you need to. This isn't about depriving yourself. You're just trading something less important so that you can meet your goals. It's being honest about your income and telling that money that you have what you want it to do and what's most important to you. If you find several things that you can cut and you don't need to give them all up, then rank them. Which items would you prefer to still keep and what are easier to let go? You only need to cut until you balance out your goals and your budget. Step 4, use sinking funds. Sinking funds will make it so much easier to save money. If you need help with sinking funds, you can watch this video. But the basic idea is you're going to save a little bit of money from each paycheck to go towards your goal. If you have a 401k through your employer and you're saving for retirement, this is actually already happening. Your employer will take a percentage of your paycheck and invest it for you. So you do the same thing for any other savings goal that you might have. The way you calculate it is with the goal amount and the deadline that you've already set. For retirement, if you're under 50, the maximum IRA contribution per year is $6,000. So if I want to save $6,000 in 1 year and I get 24 paychecks a year, I will need to save $250 per paycheck to go towards that goal. The amount might pleasantly surprise you and you might feel like, yeah, I can do that. But if it feels really high and you can adjust your goal, you can either reduce how much you want to save or extend it out over a few years. Maybe the $6,000 is back to your vacation and you can save for a longer period of time. Maybe you have 2 years to save and that would mean $125 per paycheck or $250 per month. To me, putting the goal into a sinking fund is very doable and I think I can do that. That's something that I can make happen. It's really encouraging. It also avoids having to dip into other expenses that come up with your money. So your money will just be there when you need it. Step 5, automate your savings. The next strategy that will help you is to automate putting your money into savings. By this, I mean taking advantage of your employer's direct deposit if that's an option that you have. I can break my direct deposit into multiple accounts and put a portion of my check straight into my savings account. It doesn't go into my checking account where it can be easily spent or forgotten about. If you don't have this option or you'd like to do it manually, make sure you put a reminder on your phone or somewhere that's going to pop up to manually move the money to savings as soon as you get your money. A problem I see many people having is they don't immediately move the money into savings and then it gets spent. The money is gone and the cycle repeats. The next time you get paid, it goes to checking and it gets spent. And then before you know it, your deadline is up and you don't have anything in your savings. So do yourself a favor and automate the transfer, or at the very least set a reminder to make sure it's a habit to transfer the money as soon as you get paid. The next tip is to wait before making an impulse purchase. When you go out shopping or you're shopping online, don't be too anxious to pull the trigger immediately for an unplanned purchase. There's a large percentage of people who experience buyer's remorse because they got emotional and made an immediate purchase and then they later regretted it. I've seen statistics as high as 80% of people have regretted purchases they've made. I bet it's only that low because they asked a 10-year-old who's never bought anything but candy at the store and they were happy with their purchase. Because I think we've all done it. I think we've all made regretful purchases. My weakness is online shopping. Sometimes I like to window shop on a website and suddenly I'll see something that is fun to have. So my strategy is to put it into a wish list and bookmark it and save it for later. Put a heart on it or however the website does it, but I don't buy it right away and then I wait it out. If I come back around to it, the impulse is usually gone and I haven't wasted that money. If I really wanted it, it will be there when I get back. And don't let the timer on a sale fool you. It's just a marketing ploy to get you to impulse buys. Most sales cycles will be back around in a few weeks, so it's really not that urgent most of the time. And if you do miss a sale, it's usually not that big of a deal. So now to translate this into a savings goal, you can go back to your question that we asked earlier. Would I rather have this item or my vacation? Is spending $200 on this item worth giving up my IRA contribution? If you decide that a vacation or whatever your savings goal is more important than the item that you were going to buy, then you can take that money that you were about to spend and move it into your savings account or your investment account. Now, instead of spending the money on something frivolous that you decided you didn't really need, you've just contributed some extra money into meeting your savings goals. Or you avoided overspending because you didn't want that purchase anyway. Another strategy you can try is using a bank card that will round up your transaction to the next dollar. I have an account with Acorns that I use for all my groceries. Every time I shop, the total gets rounded up to the next dollar. I could also multiply it if I wanted to double it or whatever I wanted to do, but this money gets put into one of my investment accounts. So without really missing the money, my investments are constantly growing. It's not a ton of money, but it can add up over time and it can make a big difference. I used to do this years ago with cash also. I would just keep the change and I'd put the change in a jar and leave it. And after a couple months, I counted it and it turned out I had like $40 in there. And that was something easy that I could do. It wasn't a ton of money, but over time, it was enough to fill my tank with gas, which was, where did those days go, right? The next step, if you want your savings to last, it's important to put it in a place where it won't get spent with other expenditures. This is especially important if you're the type that spending money is really tempting. Don't leave your savings in a regular checking account. You also might not want to mix your savings with your everyday savings, so you might want to split them up a little bit. If your money has a special purpose, put it into its own account. My husband and I use the online bank Ally for short-term savings, and it has a regular savings account at a slightly higher interest rate. But more importantly, it allows you to divide your money into savings buckets. This will separate your savings into different goals. So you could have a bucket for emergencies, a vacation, a down payment on a house, or whatever else you're saving for. Ultimately, you want to put your savings somewhere separate from your spending money so it doesn't get spent. Put a name on it so that you know what that money is for. It'll be more sacred money if you know that it's a down payment for a house and it's not just money that's just sitting there. Investment money will be handled differently. You can get a professional to help you with your investing money. What I do is a managed investment account. I have one, again, through my online Ally bank, and I also have some through Acorns. I'm not an investing professional, so I will let people who know what they're doing handle it for me. We have 401ks, Roth IRAs, personal investments through managed accounts, and we have investment accounts for our kids. Next, avoid covetitis like it's the plague, or maybe these days like it's COVID. So what is covetitis? I don't really know if it's a real word, but it's what I say to describe intense envy. You might see that your neighbors all have RVs. My husband and I are the only ones on our block that don't have an RV. Or there are pictures of fabulous trips on Facebook or Instagram, or someone else who's always pulled together and wearing the latest fashion. So don't compare yourself to them. You don't know what their finances look like. For all you know, they're broke and deep into debt with their purchases that they've been making. Now, I'll admit I'm guilty of putting up fun pictures of my family on vacation, but my intention isn't to create envy that leads to a foolish spending. I want you to see that that's the kind of life you can live if you use a budget and you save up for things that are important. You can still do all the fun things and have the nice stuff if you plan for it. But don't compare what you have or don't have to someone else. And don't feel like you have to live up to their lifestyle to fit in. Make your own goals and fit them into your own income. If your income can't live up to your expectations for a bigger life, then get a bigger income, learn a new skill, start a business. You don't have to stay content living on meager circumstances. Start now. Lastly, you need to start right now. If you wait until things are better, or until you are debt-free, or until you get a raise, it might never happen. I know if you're trying to get out of debt, it feels like you can't or shouldn't save, according to some gurus, but I disagree. Maybe it means you can't save as much because you need to put a lot of money toward that debt, and that's a good cause. But I don't think it means that you shouldn't save at all. When I was paying off debt, I reduced the amount going into my 401k, but I did not cut it out altogether. There are things in your life that are important to you, and you will suffocate yourself in budget misery if you don't take some of your money and do something that you love with it, or save for something special. It doesn't have to be a lot. If you don't have a lot to save to start with, just put a few dollars away. Put cash you find in your pocket when you're doing laundry into your savings. I hope you found some new tips and came up with some new ideas to help you with your savings goals. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so I can help reach more people. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.